Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video to do my WrestleMania 39 Night 2 review. Alright, guys. So we're going to get into this short and sweet. First and foremost, as you guys know, I already kind of gave out my rants earlier about the main event. But this video is to rate all the matches and my thoughts on everything, because we got to get to that. I do apologize for the prompted disconnect. My computer, I guess, well, first my microphone somehow got disconnected, and then my computer decided to reboot on me. So, yeah. For the rant, but the rant stream video is still up. I am very pissed off about the whole thing. But we got to get to the review here. We got to get to the results. So we're going to do this. All right. So WrestleMania 39 opened up. And I was just going to say this right now. Night 2 was not nearly as good as Night 1. Night 1 was... I believe what people were saying, that Night 1 felt like something that Triple H would book, and the way Night 2 was booked was more of way Vince McMahon would book things. It did feel that way. It's really, excuse my French, it's really fucking weird that it felt that way. That it felt like a complete 180, if you know what I mean. Completely a 180. It's just really weird. You know what I mean? It's just weird. So nonetheless, okay. So they sang the American Beautiful, and you know, we get to the, you know, the stuff. Okay, we get to the matches then. After all the talking, the sponsors, and the hoopla, and all that stuff. The opening match was Brock Lesnar versus Omos, and in my opinion, was a terrible decision for that to be the opening match. But for what it was, it didn't last that long. It wasn't a long match. It was just under 5 minutes. Omos mostly just slammed Brock a couple times. He threw him once before Brock started getting some German suplexes in, and then he tried to go for an F5, but Omos got out of it, and then just randomly goes for it again. F5, 1, 2, 3, match over. I will say, Kevin Dunn was really goddamn stupid in the way he cut on the end, because when Brock went to go pin Omos, they went to the hard cam, right? They went to the main cam, but they were so far away from the ring. The camera was so far away from the ring, you could barely even see them like make the pin, or you know, the referee doing the 1, 2, 3. It was pretty goddamn stupid on how they did that. The match was what it was. It was a 1-star match, and it's lucky it gets that. It was nothing special, but if it had gone any longer than that, the match would have been terrible, downright terrible. So, you know, sorry about that. It was downright terrible. You know, it would have been downright terrible had they not gone. If they had gone longer, the match would have been shit. Okay, it needed to be around that long. Probably even arguably could have gone less than that, but nonetheless, it was what it was. Brock gets the win. Whatever. All right. So the next match was the the women's showcase match. And again, like I said yesterday about the men's showcase match, I don't care for these matches. I don't care for matches that have no reason for self-gain. You know, these showcase matches do not guarantee that they are going to be the number one contender for the tag team titles. That's for men and women. So I don't see the point in them. You know, they just throw them away. They just throw away matches just to give the talent a chance to be on the card. And I don't have an issue with that, but you got to give them a reason to why they are there. Either it has to be a storyline or it has to be a reason to why they are wrestling. You know what I mean? And this just wasn't it. So you had Lip and Ricardo Rodriguez versus Natalya and Shotzi, a.k.a. C2. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Evans and Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. They got their spots in. In the end, the match ends with Ronda Rousey getting her armbar in, making C2 tap out, a.k.a. Shotzi. Yeah. That's how the match ends. It was what it was, 1.5 star, nothing special. And again, so far at this point at WrestleMania, I was already having concerns at how bad Night 2 was. And this kind of showed it on where the night was going. After this, it was the... So after this match, they did the Intercontinental Championship match, which was actually before they did this match, I should mention this. They did have Bobby Lashley come out with the Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy or whatever that he had won on SmackDown in that Royal Battle, and it was such a disservice to Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, like, you know, I feel bad for Lashley because he deserved better than that. I mean, he's a top-tier talent, and they didn't give him anything. You know, he went down. You know, I thought he was going to get like an open challenge when he was starting to walk down the aisle, and then they just cut it after that. You know, I don't know what happened to Bray Wyatt. I know a lot of people are heating on Bray Wyatt because he got injured. Or they don't know if he got injured or not. I truly believe he was injured. I don't think Bray Wyatt would want to drop out of a match, especially at WrestleMania. I mean, the dude literally got injured the night of WrestleMania when he faced The Undertaker, and he still worked the match. Okay, he still worked the match despite the injury he sustained during before he went up against The Undertaker. That's why he was gone for like a month. That's why he wasn't wrestling for a month after WrestleMania that year. So I do believe Bray Wyatt got a serious injury. I don't think he just pulled out just to pull out. I don't think they pulled him out just because Vince was gone or Vince took over or whatever. There's a lot of theories on that. But I think it sucks that Lashley didn't get a match, though. He should have gotten a match, no matter who it would have been. But nonetheless, that was it for that segment. So now for the triple threat, we have Sheamus, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Intercontinental Championship match. Yeah, it was what it was. It was a great match, and definitely a banger. There was a bunch of chops going on. They were putting waltz in themselves with the chops. They both got their shots in. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus got their finishers in. Match end when Gunther had come back from recovering from earlier, a knockout from them. And he basically put a powerbomb on Sheamus on top of Drew McIntyre, and then he powerbombed Drew McIntyre, and then he pinned him, and that's how the match ended. This match was a 3.5-star match. I was very, very enjoying this match. So yeah. All right. Now I think after this they did the Hall of Fame segment, um, which is pretty cool. You see Rey Mysterio come out. The Hall of Fame class was very weak though this year. I was not really that big on this year's Hall of Fame. But nonetheless, they did it. Rey Mysterio came out. It was all cool and whatnot. All right. So, after this, we had once again The Miz coming out with Snoop Dogg, and they were doing a little promo, and Snoop Dogg basically baited him in, and Shane McMahon returned, and it was awesome. I loved seeing Shane come back. Everyone marked out for it, but unfortunately, it turned into disaster. So they did a match. Again, these impromptu matches, there's no creative behind them. Obviously, in last night's match with Pat McAfee, Pat McAfee, technically should have been disqualified because they never specified it was a no disqualification match. But, Shane McMahon comes back. Great entrance. He's very emotional because everyone's marking out for him. But then the match starts, and 20 seconds into the match, he breaks his leg, maybe have torn his ACL. I'm hearing conflicting reports. I've heard some people say that he broke his leg. Other people say he may have tore his ACL. I don't know what's true, but nonetheless, it's really upsetting that he got injured that way because it pretty much screwed everything up. They were showing the camera on The Miz the entire time when he, did this high leg. He tried to get up after, he landed on his foot after, doing the jump. Just looked totally bad. The whole segment was ruined. They should have had another wrestler come down, but they didn't. So then Snoop Dogg had to just say, "Oh, you got hurt or something," and so then Snoop Dogg had to step in. I don't even know what this match is considered because it was supposed to be Shane versus Miz, but instead it was Snoop versus Miz, or it was a handicap. I don't even know what you consider this. No matter what, Snoop hits him or whatever and knocks him out, and then he just does a rock bottom or whatever. And that's how the match ends. It was really dumb. It was stupid. At that point, I wouldn't even have done an impromptu match. I wouldn't have had Snoop step in. I would have just had a schmoz. I would have had it end in a disqualification or whatever you want to do. The whole match was stupid. It wasn't even a match. As a matter of fact, I'm not rating this. I'm rating this as a dud, by the way. This was embarrassing. It was just embarrassing. Bobby Lashley could have came out and done it. LA Knight, so many other people could have just came out and just beat him in a couple of minutes. Just stupid. Whole thing was stupid. But nonetheless, dud. All right. The next match is Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Good match. Very, very much back and forth action. The match ended with Asuka missing the mist spit thing into Asuka. I thought it hit the referee, but apparently it didn't. And then she went for an armbar, but Bianca Belair basically powered her way up into her finishing move, and she won 1, 2, 3. Again, I don't exactly know what they're doing here because Bianca has beaten, I think, everyone now on the roster except for maybe Charlotte. And maybe that's what we're planning for next year. But honestly, I mean, at this point, I think she has to lose at some point now. Because who else are you going to have her go up against? Again, unless you're going to have her face Charlotte Flair next year, which, again, I really would like to see a new champion at this point. Just same thing with Roman Reigns. Same thing applying here. It's kind of like getting to the point where, these reigns are way too long. I don't know. I kind of don't like these long reigns that we're having now with wrestlers. I mean, it's okay, sometimes it works, but for it to happen all the time, it's just it kind of gets annoying after a while because you want to see a shakeup. You want to see, after a while, you're like, okay, around 6 months, 8 months, it's can we get a new champion? No. We'll see what happens, but I am very curious what they go forward because I don't know who's left you can do unless you do a rehash of another female wrestler again. I don't know who else you put Bianca up against after this. Which is why I think they should have just had Trish face Bianca. If you're going to have Bianca win anyways, why not have a legend? Why not have a legend put her over? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. 3 stars. It was a 3-star match. It was good for what it was. So, yeah. All right. Next, we have Edge versus the Demon King, Finn Bálor, with his alter ego. Very good entrances. Also to note, Hell in a Cell has gray bars again, not red bars. Very good about that. Happy about that. Because, that's tradition, is the gray bars, the gray cell. But there was also some funny things in here because the weapons were colored in different colors. One of the tables was purple. One of the chairs was bright red. I cannot make this up. They had some kendo sticks colored different colors as well. They had the traditional colors too. Because the other table was brown. But, it was just some weird shit going on with some of the recolorings of the weapons. The Hell in a Cell match was very well done. Spots everywhere. Kind of bringing back in the whole aura of the cell. Though there was a spot where they, Finn Bálor got hit with the ladder on the head and he was bleeding, I guess, and they weren't showing him on camera for a while to check up on him, and that pissed me off because I was like, okay, if he's just bleeding, it's who cares? It's Hell in a Cell. That's the whole concept is blood in Hell in a Cell. That makes it better, is with the blood. So that pissed me off. I'm like, this is a Hell in a Cell match. Come on now. So, yeah. Match ended with Edge. He did a spear. Finn Bálor kicked out. Also, Finn Bálor did a coup de grace on the table. He tried to do it on Edge, but Edge moved out of the way, so he hit the table. But then it ended when Edge did the concerto on Finn Bálor, and that's how the match ended. And Edge won. Very good match. 3.5 stars. Just because I'm pissed about the blood thing. That really pissed me off but I really liked what these guys did. But yeah, felt like they could have gone a little bit more, but I think they wanted to save on time for what it was. All right. Okay, guys. I just wanted to check on that. Okay, so all right. So now that was the second last match, and now we are on to the main event. Disappointing. I already did my rant video for anyone who wants to check that out. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania, main event. The entrance for Cody was awesome. He had his family there. He had Brody Lee's son, which they even noted. Luke Harper. That was Brody Lee's WWE name. -1 was there. He gave him the belt. Roman Reigns comes out. And I'm just like, this is it right here. Cody has to win this. This is the story right here. He has to win. This makes him the guy. This is the momentum. This is the momentum he needs to win. And it doesn't happen. There was a lot of false finishes in here. Very good match. But the interferences. There was also a thing with Kevin Owens and Sami coming out after the Usos came out when the referee was knocked out. Sokoa was like barred from the arena after or had to go back after the belt or whatever spot, where he took, I guess, the belt from -1. So there was that going on. But there was the ref bump. And then Cody did 2 finishing moves, right? Following the, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Usos leaving. So that feud's still going to go on. He does 2 crossroads, and he's about to do the third one. And he hesitates because Paul Heyman was, like, distracting or whatever. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good. And then Sokoa comes in and does the Samoan spike. And then Roman does a Superman-type spear, I guess. I don't know what you call that. An ultra spear. And Cody didn't kick out. 1, 2, 3, match over. Roman Reigns celebrates. Worst decision they've done in a long time. This reeks of Vince McMahon. And you're never going to get that momentum back with Cody. You're never going to get that momentum back. It's just not going to happen. You're never going to get that momentum. I said it already in the rant video. It's never happening. Even if he wins it at Saudi Arabia or SummerSlam, Saudi Arabia, he wins it. If he wins it at Saudi Arabia, that's exactly 1,000 days, by the way. And then the King of the Ring one or whatever it's called. And then the SummerSlam, it's obviously way over 1,000 days. But even if he wins it there, you're never getting that momentum back. It never will come back. He was red hot there. He needed to win it then. And I will stick to my point on that. He needed to win it there. That was the defining moment right there for him to win it, and they blew it. WWE being WWE, Vince McMahon being Vince McMahon, because I do believe it was Vince McMahon's decision. I know Triple H is probably going to come out and say it was his decision or some bullshit like that. It was Vince McMahon's decision. We know he had a headpiece on. Night 2 was definitely not as good, I think, as Night 1 was booking-wise. Obviously, the dud match. Dud match didn't help either. Yeah. In terms of the match, this was a 4-star match. But the ending just annoyed the living shit out of me because I don't see Cody ever recovering from it. Didn't recover in AEW. And I don't think he's going to recover it here. I just don't see it happening. Even if he wins the title, he won't have the same aura that he had prior to this WrestleMania. It just won't happen. And everyone says, oh, he'll get this chance, he'll get this chance. And that has always been the theme of WWE is, oh, he can get his chance next time. And then it never comes. And this is what's going to happen to Cody. It's never going to come, guys. This is what you're not understanding. It's never gonna come because that's how WWE is. That's how they've always been under Vince. And this is what they did. That's why I know it was a Vince decision. I don't think Triple H would have done this. It doesn't make sense that Trips would do this. This was the perfect chance to do it. And then they didn't do it. And now we have to suffer through more months of 2 titles being on one brand and all this bullshit going on. Just the worst thing ever. Terrible ending. As usual. The crowd doesn't go home happy. And, oh, Madon. I don't know what else to say. Just, this whole thing sucked. It sucked! I mean, also, again, if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are attacking the Usos and they won their titles, like, obviously their storyline's going to continue, so why wouldn't you have Cody win? It just doesn't make sense. It would have made more sense for Cody to win here. I'm scratching my head just for the 1,000-day thing, which, by the way, again, the Saudi event in May 27th will be exactly 1,000 days. So if he loses it on there, he still has the 1,000 record. And that's what I'm thinking they're going to do. I don't even think it's going to be at SummerSlam. I think it's going to be in Saudi Arabia when he wins it. Some people are saying SummerSlam, but I think it's going to be Saudi Arabia because that will be exactly 1,000. That will be exactly 1,000 days. We did the calcs on it. It's just really stupid. Really pissed off. What a letdown. What a fucking letdown. But yeah, guys. Overall for these 2 nights, night 1 was better. Night 1 was a 9 out of 10. Night 2 was a 7 out of 10. So that's what that's what I got, guys. Please comment, rate, like, share, all that good shit. I do have a Discord. I have the Twitch, the Instagram. Make sure to check all those out. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And make sure to subscribe here on YouTube. Click the bell for the latest content. Thank you. And that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace!